Hey there guys, and welcome back. I'm Kris, I'm a GP, but none of that's relevant because today I'm talking about something not medicine related. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how 2 years ago I had a wedding for under $20,000. If that sounds like your type of video, keep on watching. So I'm going to be talking very frankly about money, about the wedding planning process, and yeah, basically just breaking down the costs and the things that I didn't realize were going to cost money when I was planning my wedding. Like I mentioned, I got married 2 years ago in Queensland in the Whitsunday area. It was a destination wedding. I didn't have to travel that far, but basically we had guests from every state except for Tasmania and the ACT attend our wedding. So it was a fun event, but it was also a very small event. So we had about 70 people at our wedding, which is considered rather small, but it's not tiny. So as you may or may not be able to tell, I'm quite an anal person when it comes to planning, and I really enjoyed the process. I had an Excel spreadsheet, which I'll be reading from today, which basically helped me keep track of everything. And yep, I had a wedding planning book and everything. This was my Bible. This was my go-to. So let's start with the biggest ticket item, the venue. So hubby and I got married beachside at an eco resort. This had always been a dream of mine, to get married by the beach. Didn't want to get married on the beach because of the whole sand situation. But we just found this place actually serendipitously when I was on a rural placement. We just went for a drive and found it. It was beautiful. So we essentially got the whole place to ourselves. It had cabins in it, so it wasn't a hotel. And usually you would have, strangers staying there as well. But because most of our guests were coming from out of town, if not out of state, they snatched up the whole resort rather quickly. So the venue cost was $3,400 for hire. This included the use of all of their furniture and decorations, which was so useful. The owner at the time also acted as kind of a pseudo wedding planner, and she was in charge of making sure the day went smoothly. So she made sure the setup and the pack down was good. She coordinated the kitchen team and the alcohol team or the bar team. And she was also just vital in making sure the day just was beautiful. So, well worth the $3,400. On that topic, let's talk about food. So we had a 2-course meal with a dessert table and cake for dessert. It was awesome. It was delicious. And in total, for about 70 people, the food cost us $4,700. So we had, I think, a few people not end up coming, so it was a bit less than that. Thankfully, we were refunded for any meals they weren't had. And yeah, the food was spectacular. I know people are nice about your wedding, but most people were very much like, hey, the food was great. Then alcohol. So this is a topical one. Hubby and I, not big drinkers, but we do appreciate that at a wedding, we wanted people to be able to just order something from the bar and not have to pay for it. That being said, we are not made of money, so we made sure that it was a beer and wine package. And if they wanted spirits or specific beer or wine that wasn't on the menu, then they would have to pay for it. The only caveat was our bridal table got free reign. That was not something we decided, that was something the bar decided. And again, it wasn't that bad. So in total, we put down a limit of $2,000, and I think we got something like $700 back. So they didn't drink that much. So then we talk about the average size costs. So a question I get asked a lot is, how much did your wedding dress cost? And you might throw up if I tell you that it cost me $70. Yeah, $70. It cost more to get the dress fitted to me than it did to buy the dress. I got my dress on Facebook Marketplace, and it's a beautiful story about this photographer who bought this dress for a model. They had a falling out, it stayed in a cupboard for 10 years, and then the photographer had to move to look after her elderly mother, so she was selling everything in the cupboard. She put it up, I went, that looks kind of like what I want. I went to go try it on with a friend, and I walked away that day with a $70 dress. I can't find it properly, but most dresses similar to it retail for about $5,000. So woo woo! I spent, I think, actually I'll have it on here. I spent $200 on getting it fitted because I took a couple of layers out and it was a bit big for me. As for my husband, bless his soul, he spent $60 on his suit because we found it at a DFO on sale. So proud. So I'm going to go through the list now from top to bottom, so in no particular order. It's important for me to note that my maid of honor, my best friend, is an excellent graphic designer. She's a doctor, she doesn't do graphic design at all professionally, but she was just, thank you so much, Emma. You made everything perfect. So the invites, of course, we had her design them. I paid $61 for the ones that I had to print. I only printed about 50 because a lot of our guests were coupled. As for the thank you cards, I also bought 50 and we spent $45 on those. In my wedding invite, I put a little business card that had details about our wedding website, which was free. The website, that is, not the business cards. And I spent $19.47 on that order. I had return address labels printed for my husband and I, and that cost me $28. Then I had engagement party invites, and we were having a very small engagement party, so there was only about 20 people there, and I spent $28 on this. So then we talk about the welcome sign. Again, designed by my best friend. It was printed in a 2 or a 1, I believe, through Big W for $69. The other signs we had included a seating chart, a social media sign, a guest book sign, and a candy bar sign. And these all cost me $69, $10, and $5 each. So I printed the smaller ones myself and just put them in a frame. The menus we printed at Officeworks, I believe, and they cost me about 20 bucks as well. I also had a sign up to say that our ceremony was what was known as an unplugged ceremony, and that cost me $20. I had a stamp made up saying thank you from, my husband and I, and that cost me $30. So then we came to the wedding rings. So, as you can see, I wear a very plain gold band. My husband and I both bought ours from Goldmark. Mine cost $135 and my husband's cost $500. Not because we wanted him to spend more, not because of anything except they're the ones we liked. My engagement ring was much more expensive than that, but that doesn't count in the wedding cost. So, and I still to this day don't know how much it actually cost my husband. Oh yes, so when we were buying my bridesmaids dresses, we bought them from a website called JJ's, not to be confused with the clothing shop JJ's. And we bought my husband and our groomsmen's ties from there, and the ties were $25 each. So hubby's wedding tie cost $25. As for my wedding shoes, I wore a pair of Novo shoes that cost me $75. And my husband wore a pair of shoes that cost him $20 from Ed Harry on sale at a DFO. So, hair and makeup. So I had a beautiful hair and makeup artist and she cost me $180. This was for me only, but I did end up paying for my bridal party as well. And you can imagine they were, I think, $150 each. I had 4 bridesmaids, so yeah, $600. Then we had our celebrant. We had a beautiful celebrant. She made the ceremony so much fun, and she cost me $500. And a lot of that was for paperwork, and that's the average cost of a celebrant. As for photography and videography, we got an 8-hour package, and I'm very thankful we did. We tossed a lot between not having a videographer and having a videographer, and they cost me $4,490, worth every cent. We also had a live band at our reception, so they were a 3-piece, guitar, drums, vocals, and they cost us $750, and they were there for 5 hours, I think. And then finally we had miscellaneous costs, which cost me about $50 for things like the bra I had to wear to my wedding. So overall, we spent, at least according to my tally, $17,498.85. So there's a little bit missing here, so I would say it's about $17,500 and something. But yeah, it was a beautiful day, and in the grand scheme of things, this was a relatively cheap wedding. Initially when planning, I wanted under $10,000, and then we bumped it to $15,000, and we ended up with this. but I don't regret anything at all. So if you found this interesting, let me know. I wish I was on YouTube back when I was planning my wedding, because I loved the process. I watched so many wedding planning videos and wedding videos and got so much inspiration. But yeah, I just figured the money side of things is not really talked about. So I had a cheap wedding, didn't feel cheap at the time. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like this, subscribe, especially if you're into medical content, but let me know what non-medical content you want. Until next time guys, stay safe, stay healthy, I'll catch you later. Bye.